We should now move on to our knowledge sessions. And we'll like to start with a very interesting topic. It is on business sustainability through compliance, process excellence, and process simplification. The speaker for this session is Mr. Dhaval Kumar Surti, Head Quality Assurance, Dr. Reddy's Laboratories. Mr. Surti has over 19 years of experience in injectable manufacturing, validation, quality assurance, and new facility projects. His hands-on qualification experience includes area qualification, smoke studies, equipment qualification, media fills, utilities qualification, freeze dryer qualification, process and cleaning validation, 21 CFR Part 11 compliance, cleaning validation, etc. Over to you, Mr. Surti.
So good evening friends, welcome, and thank you Vizag Pharma Summit for giving me this opportunity to interact with pharma friends. So this topic I will be focusing, since looking at the time, I will be focusing on very basic important things which are utmost important based on my experience of 19 years, what I have seen throughout the industry. Whatever I am speaking will be based on my own expertise, my own experiences. This has no linkage or no relevance with my current organization or any of my previous organizations. This is overall outcome, what I feel I can deliver best in the 15 minutes given to me. So let's understand business sustainability through compliance, process excellence, and process simplification. So, I will be asking a question. I will be making this as an interactive session rather than I am only speaking and you are only listening. So before I begin, how many of my friends are from quality background, that is QA, QC? Okay. How many friends are from operations, that is production, engineering, warehouse, packing? Great. So it's balanced. And how many from the research? Okay, so we have good balance of the people and in and out knows the industry. So if I have to ask a specific question, which is the below statement is more relevant for business sustainability? If I say we have robust quality system to ensure product quality, or if I say we have robust manufacturing system to produce quality products, which is the most relevant for the business sustainability in current scenario? Second. How many for second? And how many for first? So, relying only on the quality functions for the business sustainability is a risky approach. Quality has to be built into the product, it has to be ensured while it is getting manufactured. As Mr. Sunil Rajwal gave a very beautiful example, if the person is observant, and if he sees there is a problem during the process, he knows this is, the foam is not coming in this step, the color of the material is not pink in this step. Then if he stops there and raises the concern, then we can prevent a hell lot of investigation, a lot of batch failures. So that is more important in current scenario. We should have robust manufacturing system which at the end will ensure the quality product. Now coming to compliance. My second question, product quality, productivity and compliance, is this the correct combination? If I say productivity and compliance, is this the correct combination? Or is the correct way to spell it out? How many for yes? And how many for no? So thing is, I will explain. Thing is, when I say compliance and productivity are two different terminology, I am breaking or I am introducing non-compliance right from that moment. If I have to do a production, if I have to produce something, compliance is not out of it. It is the way to do it. When we say compliance, it is about very basic things. When we say compliance, is it basic compliance or it is a basic requirement to produce? When I say basic requirement to produce, what I have to do? I have to follow my procedures. So So pharma industry is a beautiful industry. You have a procedure for each and every process. None of the process which you have when you enter inside the gate, there is no process for which you don't have procedure. You don't have to go beyond that. You simply have to follow the procedure. If we see the current industrial scenario, the observations which are coming, are they because of FDA have made their rules stringent, their expectations stringent? Practically no. The most of the observations are there because we own as an industry are not following our own procedure as defined. Many of the people working on the floor even don't know what are the procedures. So this is basic we have to do, following the procedures, complying to guidelines because we are in regulated market. We have to follow the guidelines. If you are not following that, then they will not accept us. They will not approve our facility. And one more important factor, meeting regulatory expectations. When I say expectation, in injectable manufacturing, if you are manufacturing a new facility, making a new facility, and if you go with older system of cartons and LF, they say this is not the right way to do it. Even if it is okay, but it is not right way to do it. The expectations are very, very high. Once compliance is ensured, once we understand what is compliance, now let us talk about what is process excellence. This is a more frequently talked terminology within the industry. Everybody talks about excellent manufacturing process, excellent operations. But how we can achieve that? Is it through a presentation into the rooms? Is it through literature? Is it through beautiful videos? May not be. First and foremost step to achieve process excellence is about process understanding. Narendra sir in his talked about knowledge management. What is knowledge? What is my basic process? What I am doing? Do I know my process? If I don't know my process, if I don't know science behind my process, if I don't know what is logic behind the specific activity, why I have to stir for 10 minutes? Why 300 RPM is required? Why my blood uniformity is like this only? Why my processing time is 60 hours? If we don't know the science behind it, we cannot achieve or we cannot even talk of process excellence. For example, it took me 15 days to learn how to drive a car. Understand? It took only 15 days for me to learn how to drive a car, but it took 3 months for me to get that experience. Anytime I can take a car and get on any road. So this is difference between process understanding and process excellence. What are you understanding? If you are not expert on that, process excellence cannot be achieved. And that is where we are getting a hit. We bring any people, we think that by giving training of 2-3 procedures, by giving 2-3 days training, the person will start operating a critical machine for the very next day. If you are thinking like that, then it is not going to happen. We will land up into the breakdowns, we will land up into the deviations, we will land up into the incidents, and the efforts to cover that, efforts to investigate will be much more higher than what the actual purpose of doing that activity. So nowadays most failures or observations are not because of facility is old, machine is old, lack of automation, but because of basic understanding of the people. If you are looking at the observation trends, since last many years, regulators are not interested in talking to the managers. Regulators are not interested in talking to HODs. They want to talk to the people who are actually doing the activity. And reason why? Because they are the people who are making the product. They are the people who are testing the product. If they are not aware of that system and procedure, then how a manager can assure or how a plant head can assure that whatever they are producing out of the company is meeting the quality standards. Planning. When we take process excellence, planning is very, very important. Practically, what do we mean by process excellence? I plan, that plan goes as per the expectation, the people understand that this is my process, QC understand that I will be receiving the sample at this specific time, packing knows my dispatch plan is this, warehouse knows this material we need, the planner knows this is the requirement for manufacturing 10 batches this month or 20 batches this month. If that knowledge is not there, we cannot talk of process excellence. So planning is the first and foremost requirement when we are talking about process excellence. Resolving interdepartmental boundaries. So when we enter inside the company gate, are we entering as a pharma professional? Sometimes no, many times no. I am entering as I am a QC analyst. I am entering as I am a production supervisor. I am entering as I am heading the quality function. I am entering as I am packing supervisor. Nobody enters as I am a pharma professional. And that is the biggest concern or problem with the current industrial setup. Everybody does their work perfectly, but at the result is not a product is not going out, we have problems within the product. Why? Because we are not looking at the bigger picture that we are in a same manufacturing industry. If I am testing, then my ultimate goal is to deliver a quality product outside the company. If I am dispensing, now my ultimate purpose, I should not make any mistake, so that the manufacturing person, when he manufactures the batch, it will go as intended. So this concept, this is my work, this is his work. We have to come out of that if you want to talk as a process excellence. Excel sheets and mini tabs can come in picture later on. But we have to first understand this. Okay, how to make my process robust, how to make a quality product right first time. Sir has given in-depth right first time, but people has to understand what is right first time. Doing my job perfectly is the first and foremost requirement, and understanding the criticality of my job. If I am not doing my job correctly, how it is going to impact subsequent work is very important. Understanding values within department. So as a leaders, as a manager, we have to understand that there are silos within the, I am talking now within department. It is not between production or QA. It is not between QC and QA. It is within production. Are the people aligned? Are the person who is manufacturing and the person who is filling, or the person who is preparing the blood and the person who is compressing the tablets, are those people are aligned? Are they are communicating with each other? These silos, as a manager, we have to understand, as a leader, we have to understand, and if we identify, yes, there are gaps between understanding, then we have to counsel and overcome. This is challenge. Now we have latest machineries, full automation, softwares, isolators, technologies, SCADA, everything is there. But are the people up to that level? Do we have the people up to that level? What do we expect? A diploma engineer or ITA will come and will operate the PLC or SCADA of a 3 crore or 5 crore rupee machine. Is it possible? May not be. We have to have personnel who are excellent and expert in the activity for that specific process. As a management, sometimes what is happening? The operator who is the most critical element within the system. If he does the mistake, 10 more people has to come and investigate. And what will end up? We will end up as a human error. But why this is occurring? Are we putting the right resource, right person? One of my friends is pilot. Can I go and take one more training and become a pilot? Never. So this is a different level of expertise. Becoming a pilot is a different level of expertise. Same way, running a pharma machine is a different level of expertise. Anybody cannot jump in and start operating like this. So this is one of the most important criteria we have to consider when we are talking about process excellence for business continuity. Now a thought comes, I want to improve. I want to prove this automation, but I have committed to regulator that I will be following this procedure. So I cannot introduce. I have certain ideas, but FDA will not accept it. Believe me, I have listened this from a very senior person. FDA never stopped us from going from the improvement. Regulator, I have never stopped us from going to the automation. If you commit a certain thing, but you have better plan, better system, which is overcoming your commitment or serving better than what you committed, you can always go and update. There are two beautiful lines. How many of you have heard hidden factory word? How many of you have heard the word hidden factory? What is hidden factory? Hidden factory is we think that my department or my people are working in certain way. But we actually go into the software and see there are certain processes which we are there following, but that is not a part of SOP, not part of batch record, not part of any documentation. They are doing it. They have taken certain shortcuts which is never understood by anybody until you go to the software and interact with the people. So if you go to your floor, you will find this hidden factory. People are doing certain activities which is never, you have never imagined that of. So you have to see what is hidden factory within your company. Second beautiful line is, if the problem is at shop floor, the solution is at shop floor. What happens? An incident occurs, a deviation occurs, a breakdown occurs, and people will gather into the office and start brainstorming. They never go to the people, the person, the operator or the technician who have made the mistake. They go gather into the office and, okay, what can go wrong, what can go wrong? We cannot come to any concrete conclusion by this way of investigation. If you have a problem, you have to go to the software very next minute. There are the evidences, where there the area of operation, where in terms of crimes in investigation, I will say, if I have to talk into the CBI language, it is a crime scene investigation. You have to go to the area to understand what was the problem. And believe me, by doing that, you will have the correct and perfect root cause within 30 minutes of interaction with the people. This is another big problem. If we have certain problems, what we think, we will bring a very excellent consultant, very excellent technical expert will come into the top and magic will happen and everything that software will get sorted out. So is it the correct way? I think no. If only Sachin plays and 10 other players will not play, or if only Kohli plays and 10 other players will not play, then do you think we can win a match? Yes or no? No. So, of course you can bring the expertise, but you have to make your software people hero, give them confidence. Whatever knowledge you have to give to the person who are working on the software. We talked about compliance, we talked about process excellence. Now we'll talk about process simplification. So first question we have to ask is why the process is complex. So when we think I have to simplify process, then I have to understand that somewhere I made this process complex. Was it complex from the day one? No. So how it became complex? We have to ask that question to ourselves. How it became complex? Now this is very beautiful terminology. Human error and training. So when we say investigations, when we say certain problems, which is the first thing comes in mind? Human error. And second thing is training. I have certain different thought on this process. 90% of investigation which I have seen concluded as human error after thorough investigation. If we go into the draft, I found there is certain lacuna within the system, certain lacuna within the equipment, certain lacuna within the procedure, which is not correctly written. Certain things are left to the operator, left to the person to understand and execute. And if that lacuna, if you consider as a human error, that is inadequate, that is inappropriate. Training is made as a joke. For me, training is the only and powerful instrument by which I can introduce excellence into my process. I can simplify my process. How? I have seen the person who don't need even a procedure or a batch record to manufacture a batch. They are so expert in that activity. They are so expert in that operating that machine. They have gone beyond the SOP, they have gone beyond the manual, they have gone beyond the engineering aspect. They know machine in and out. That is the real meaning of training. Going to the person, giving 10 minutes lecture and writing signing the document is not training. going to the actual scenario, imparting our own experience, bringing the experienced people and junior people, as Adva sir said in his presentation. A junior and a senior most person comes together on a system, and the knowledge, exchange of knowledge, that is what we can say is a real training. Not giving 2-3 sentences or 2-3 pages SOP and read it and training is complete. It's not training. One question, another concern comes. If I train people, they will leave. They will join another company. So what is the benefit? But you think the bigger picture. If you train a people properly, even if he goes to the other company, he will not make that mistake in other company. He goes to third and even make those people of those company aware about this mistake. So by giving proper training to our personnel, we are not benefiting our own company, but we are benefiting the entire pharma industry. So this talks comes, if I train my people, they will leave. Nothing will. If you don't train and they don't leave, then what is the signal? We have set of people who are not into the system and they are operating the machine. So it is always better to have excellent training program, excellent knowledge exchange program when we are talking for process simplification. How do you simplify my process? When you have extensive knowledge, you come to know that these steps are absolutely not necessary for the process. You will eliminate this process. You simplify. You will make it optimize. You will make it slim and trim. By that you will achieve process simplification. Back to basics. As we grow, we talk of seminars, we talk of different initiatives, we talk of excellence. But somewhere we forget what is our basic business. Our basic business is we manufacture, we test, we either approve or reject and we sell. That is the basic business of any industry, including pharma industry. So whenever you are talking of any excellence program or any simplification program, first understand what is our basic business. Our basic business is this: manufacture, test, approve. If it is not passing, reject. If it is approved, sell it. Listen to the people involved in the activity. Many times we are so consumed in ourselves, so consumed in our own activity, we don't listen to the voice of the person who is at the lowest level of hierarchy. Operator has lot many things to say. He has lot many suggestions. The operation supervisor, the chemist, the dispensing supervisor, the dispensing person, the packing supervisor, the guy in supply chain who are actually doing the activity, they have lot of suggestions, lot many things to say, but nobody goes and asks them. And that is the problem. We are not able to achieve process simplification within the process. There is one example. An industry, the company has a one big problem and 2 years they are facing issues. Nobody is coming to a conclusion. Someday MD came, gathered all the staff and asked what we can do. Our operator came out and given the advice we can resolve it by this way. Then he asked, why you are not speaking up these 2 years? He simply said, nobody asked me. So this is the scenario with us also. We are not going to the roots, we are not going to the basic of our operation, and we are trying to find simplification somewhere into the superficial layer. And it will never going to happen if you are talking only at the superficial layer. When you listen to the people, connect their inputs to the experts, problem will come from the shop floor. Now we have expertise, connect, and how we can simplify. Bridge the gap. Improvement can be done through design control. What is the best example of design control we are using day to day? Can anybody tell what is the best design control example we are using day to day? Every day we are using. You cannot make mistake. I will say, mobile's C-type charger. You put this way or that way, it will get connected. Before that you have to see which side is flat, which side is curved. But C-type charger is a, I will say, design control. You could put anywhere, it will going to fit into your mobile charging point. So this sort of activities, this sort of thought we have to introduce when we are talking about process simplification. And why it is important? As we understood, there is a lot of competition. There is a lot of competition in generic markets. We are not looking at 5 countries, we are looking at all the countries. Each and every company wants to grow and do the business. Processes are similar, market is open. So what is the way we can reduce our cost? By process excellence, by process simplification. And process simplification does not mean to remove manpower. I agree to Sunil sir's comment. If I have to produce more, I will not talk of reducing manpower. I will talk putting 2 new lines, putting 10 extra people so I can run 24/7. I will not stop the line on the Sundays also. I will give the CF because I have the extra manpower, efficient manpower within the system, so I don't have to stop my lines. I will take example of superstar Shahrukh Khan. Somewhere he has said, I don't believe in saving the money. I believe in earning more money, so I can spend more. Same way we have to believe in that to increase profitability, we don't have to cut the cost. We have to put more resources so we can produce more. Finally, I will talk on cost of non-compliance. Why it is important? How things can go wrong if you are not focusing compliance, process excellence and process simplification, we can land up into the non-compliance. And what is the cost of non-compliance? Spending money on investigations and experts from outside rather than actual production. For example, if you have critical observation, we will get approval for the 10 people for the investigation. We are talking on how to perform best investigation, but we are not talking how to reduce the investigation, how to prevent the errors. Having the error and having the best investigation is like doing the best postmortem we can do. We are not here for doing best postmortem, we are here for preventing the deaths, we are here for preventing the accidents. When we have non-compliance, we cannot sell our new product approvals stocks, so what is the harm? We will have operational cost, we cannot shut down facility, so we have cost of utilities, cost of transport, cost of salaries, cost of inventory, but we are not producing, so this is the cost of non-compliance. Loss of sales. We cannot sell to the product to the market. Our product will not, new product will not get approved. Company's share price will down. If you can go to the news, whenever there is 483 routed for the any company with critical observation, share market goes 3 or 4% down for the specific company. And that losses are huge loss against the what we are saying in our day-to-day manufacturing processes. Using experienced staff, and this is most painful for me. When problem occurs with the company, the dedicated people who build those companies, who have given their heart and blood to the company, they get demotivated. Management asks questions to those people, what we are doing, how this can happen. Those experienced people goes, new people comes which don't know the processes, and company goes in a bigger trouble than it was already in. And when company is problem, no expert will come onto the board of that company. Nobody want to take that challenge. Okay, I will go and I will bring this company up. So these are the disadvantages or losses when you are non-compliant into the system. Thank you. Thank you for your time.